Today we're gonna take a 360 virtual reality look at the SS United States. We're located in South Philadelphia. We're in the Penn's Port neighborhood. We're next to all of the commercial businesses. On our right hand side, you can see Raymore Flanagan's, Miller Ale House, Longhorn, Wendy's, IKEA, Lowe's, Best Buy, Five and Below, Dollar Tree, and more. On our left hand side is where Pier 82 lies, and that's where they hold the United States ship. If you look to your left hand side and you move your device, remember, if the image quality looks a little bit grainy, that's because YouTube automatically recommends this video in its lowest quality. Adjust your YouTube browser by clicking the gear wheel, and then you'll access a drop down menu. You can watch this video in 4K resolution. On our left is where the United States boat is at. There's a gate, so I do apologize about the gate. I'm gonna try to extend the monopod a bit higher so that you guys can see above the gate and get a better view of the boat, but check it out. I'm gonna take you guys over the barbed wire. Let me try to take you a bit higher. I'm gonna try to give you a good look at this boat, and then we'll talk a little bit about the boat. You see that boat? So that boat is called SS United States. That boat was constructed between the years of 1950 and 1951. At the time of that boat being made, it cost roughly $79 million, which is equivalent to a little over $829 million in today's economy. So that boat would have cost damn near $1 billion to make in today's time. At the time of that boat setting sail, it reached the speed of 35 miles per hour, a whopping 35 miles per hour. That boat still holds the record of the fastest boat to ship to this very day. It still holds the record. So yes, believe it, 35 miles per hour was the fastest. Check it out. It's a bit rusted. Let me see if I can show you guys again. Right now we're at Commons Drive. We're at Commons Drive, and we're at the intersection of Commons Drive and Columbus Boulevard. Christopher Columbus Boulevard here in South Philly. I wanted to show you guys this boat because this is a pretty cool looking boat. At one point, they were trying to make it into a casino. I did read something about developers wanting to make it into a casino. I believe it was put to rest in the early 1960s. Believe it or not, it can still be used to this day in a time of war. If we were to go to war, that boat can be pulled out and rehabilitated at any time. It went through several hands of ownership. At one point, they removed all of the asbestos materials in it, and they were considering scrapping it. They were taking bids to scrap it, but I guess people, I don't know if they were of military background or what, but I know they did their best to keep it afloat and not let it go down that route. It's a very costly boat to maintain. It's huge. I don't know if this camera does justice, and I'm kind of saddened that there's a gate blocking it because I don't know if you guys can get the best view. It's a restricted area, as you can see. Restricted area. Unauthorized presence within the area constitute a breach of security. Remember, because that is a United States government boat. Check it out. Look at it. It's a beautiful boat. It reminds me of the Titanic. It reminds me of the Titanic. It is a fantastic looking boat. It's a little rusty, but that's as expected. It was parked here in Philadelphia, I believe in around 1992. I think in the early 90s is when they parked it here at Pier 82, and it's been here ever since. They've mentioned on several occasions, and they've tried to develop ways to make use of it. One of the earlier owners wanted to try to turn it into a venue to make money from it, you know, to try to reap some fruits of their initial investment. But I don't think it worked out so well. It will be a very costly fix to undergo. You can see it, it's peeking at us, it's teasing us, but they have all of these skits of what looks to be like lumber. All of this wasn't here before. So in the past, when I was growing up, I had a clearer view of it, but it's a phenomenal sight to see in person. There's some trash and some debris on the ground, as you can see. We're walking very south of South Philly. We're not far from Patterson Ave, which would take us to the sports complex. Not only that, but we're facing the Walt Whitman Bridge. The Walt Whitman Bridge will allow you to enter to South Jersey. So we're minutes away from the Walt Whitman Bridge. You can see it directly in front of us. Again, you guys are gonna get to peek at it one more time. Turn your mobile devices left. Wow. That thing is huge, guys, it's huge. I think there's still plans to keep it maybe some sort of like hotel type of thing. I know they wanted to turn it into casinos, but I know there was a lot of people against that. They wanted to turn it to like an open port. On our right hand side, we have Best Buy, Dollar Tree, Oak Street Health. Not only did I want to show you the boat, which you guys might get one last look at it right here, so I'm gonna let you take it in. You can look at it. I don't know if you can touch your screen and zoom in. I don't know if you're gonna have that capability, but it's huge, and it says the United States on it. When we crossed the street, the other thing that I wanted to show you was, if you guys ever seen the show on A&E called Parking Wars, Philadelphia PPA, it was I believe Philadelphia Parking Authority had the show called Parking Wars, where they would write people tickets. You can still watch reruns on YouTube. We're walking over some train tracks right now. If you look right, you'll see the Philadelphia skyline, a phenomenal skyline. It looks beautiful. We have really cloudy skies. It's pretty chilly today. It's around 40 degrees, but there is a light wind chill. We just had the SEPTA bus go by us. I can actually see, if you turn to your right hand side, I can actually see City Hall from right here. I see City Hall. I see the Comcast buildings. I see Liberty 1, Liberty 2. But in front of us, we're gonna allow this traffic to go by. I could have went sooner, but I wanted to show you guys City Hall and all that stuff. It's probably so tiny, you guys probably can't see it. Right after this car, we're gonna cross the street. But I wanted to show you this PPA headquarters, because this PPA headquarters was one of the ones that was used in the show Parking Wars. So I think it's pretty cool. Now, back in the day, I would say 20 years ago. Back in the day might not be so back in the day for some of my viewers, but back in the day for me, when I was a youngster and I used to come down here, all of this wasn't here. IKEA wasn't here, Best Buy wasn't here. This is all relatively new to the South Philadelphia business district. It's a great resource because we didn't have a Best Buy in this area when I was growing up. So it's cool to come here and see Best Buy. But there's a PPA way back here. I'm gonna walk you guys towards the PPA area so that you guys can see what I was talking about. This is where they take all of the towed and impounded vehicles So there are a couple locations. There's a location in North Philly. There's another location around the corner next to where the ECW wrestling rink was at, where Foreman Mills is at. Foreman Mills. Stretch those bills. We got Five and Below on our right. But directly in front of us, we're gonna walk as close as we can to the PPA entrance. We couldn't get close to the boat, but mind you, look behind me, guys. Turn around and look behind me. You can still see the boat behind me. So it's a crazy looking view. It's nice. It's really nice. We're near Oregon Avenue to our front. We got Snyder Avenue behind us. This is as South Philly as it gets, guys. Now, I'm not sure how active this PPA location is in today's day. It looks kind of empty. It looks quite deserted, but I do see all the PPA trucks. Those PPA trucks are notorious for towing vehicles. Yep, if you ever see a PPA truck towing a vehicle, 9 times out of 10, it had to do with parking violations. Secondly, it had to do with maybe no registration, expired registration, no license, no insurance. Yep. Back in the early 2000s, they passed an initiative where if you didn't have insurance, or you didn't have registration, or you didn't have a driver's license, it was called live stop, where they were stopping random drivers and they would have checkpoints and they would check to see if you had what I just mentioned, and if you didn't, they would tow it and they would bring it to these lots. So if you watch the show on YouTube on A&E, the reruns, you'll see that there were scenes shot out here. Plenty of scenes. That was the main office right there in front of us, and you would see the people get their cars pulled out of here. So like I'm saying, I don't know if they keep any people's cars here, because there's another location around the corner where they might just house the tow trucks. Those are all the tow trucks. You can see all the tow trucks in front of us. But in the show, you would see the cars be released. You would see a whole line of people here waiting to go in there to pay the fees in order to get their cars out. There was people who were getting their cars towed that weren't even from the Philadelphia area. They might have been visiting. They might have been from Massachusetts, or might have been from Maryland. But if you parked in the wrong spot you weren't supposed to park at, you were gonna get your vehicle towed. And this is where you would have to come to, at least for the show's purpose, to get your vehicle out. Now there's a bunch of cars over there. I don't know if those cars over there are related to the PPA parking, or if maybe they work at those warehouses. But this is kind of like the industrial district. I used to come here and ride go-karts in this parking lot right next to PPA. I used to have a bunch of go-karts, 2-stroke racing go-karts that took gasoline and 2-stroke oil. Pretty fast. They went anywhere from as fast as the boat, 35 to 55 plus miles an hour. Micro carts, really low to the ground. They stood about an inch off the ground, but they were really fast, fun machines. I had 8 of them, one for every day of the week and one. And I used to customize them, put racing parts on them and everything. And I used to bring them here because it was a fun place to ride at, and it was an open parking lot. At the time when I used to come here, there wasn't this much vehicle traffic here. I guess IKEA is pretty packed today. But you got IKEA, you got Chick-fil-A, Vision Works. Yep. Pretty cool, guys. I thought it would be a cool way to document the boat before anything happens to the boat, because it seems like I'm blessed with the lens where when I document an area, not too shortly after I document it, they start renovating it. I got plenty of areas on my channel. After I documented it, they renovated it, they knocked it down, they made it look completely different. Check out the little smart car on our left. How many of you guys like shopping at IKEA? Do you have an IKEA in your town? I know some people might not even have an IKEA in their town. IKEA is pretty cool. The one thing that I always, wow, somebody got some super strong cologne or perfume on. Woo! I tasted it in my mouth. You've ever has anyone ever had cologne or perfume so strong that when they walk by or they drive by you just taste it? It's like a whole woof straight to the face. Well, that's what just happened. But sometimes I don't like the fact that you gotta go and you see everything on display, right? And after you see it on display, you have to go to a separate area of the store to get it all which is in a box. You get it and you got to take it home and build it. But look at, if you're coming out of IKEA, if you look to my right hand side, you'll see the United States boat on our right hand side, clear as day. And it's been docked there ever since. The most intriguing thing to think of is that even though they stripped the inside and they got rid of a lot of the materials that were in it because it's no longer being used, that it can still be used in a time of war. That's incredible, right? That it can still be used in a time of war. That's like a phenomenal thought. There's another ship not too far from here that's called the Moshulu. It's a restaurant ship, but that ship was once hidden away in the state of Oregon. So it's funny because even though it's here in Philadelphia, PA, and it's used at Penn's Landing as a restaurant ship, at one point they were hiding it in the other side of the United States on the West Coast in the state of Oregon. Yeah, it's called the Moshulu. It's not far from here either. All that on our right hand side is the Delaware River, and the Delaware River houses many piers, hence we're at Pier 82. But there's piers all along our right hand side. After the Delaware River, you'll hit New Jersey. Once you cross over that river on our right hand side, you get to the state of New Jersey. You have an Amazon warehouse over there, Ormond Jingle Bells and all of that stuff. But back in the day, all of this was strictly industrial, strictly freight, strictly for shipping and docking purposes. All of Penn's Landing right now, it's like a commercial strip where you can come and go shopping. There's plenty of stores and venues and places to visit. But rewind 100 years ago, this was all shipyards. This is how all of the merchandise came in, and the fish and the food and all of the lumber and all that stuff. Because at one point, Philadelphia was the warehouse or factory capital of the country. A lot of those jobs disappeared, and you guys know the rest.